What's up, guys? Welcome to your Bitcoin update. We're also going to be taking a look at Litecoin and Ethereum at the end of the video, so definitely stick around for that. We're going to be looking at the bullish and the bearish case scenario. Could we be in an inverse head and shoulders? Also, we're going to look at that wick off chart that I've been showing and see how that's playing out. You don't want to miss this video. Definitely stick around for the whole thing. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investment advice. And don't forget, we do a free Ledger Nano S hard wallet giveaway every Monday. All you have to do to enter to win is make sure you subscribe to the channel, scroll down, hit that thumbs up, leave your comment below, and make sure you tick that notification bell to get notified when I post videos so you don't miss out. All right, we're going to be talking about quite a bit of different stuff today. Like I said, we're going to look at the inverse head and shoulder possibility. Although I don't necessarily lean that way, but we're going to take a look at the bullish and the bearish case scenario, some trade setups. Also, like I said, at the end of the video, we'll be looking at Litecoin and Ethereum charts from last week and see how they're playing out. As you guys know, I'm bullish on the dollar for the next year or two, and I've showed this over and over, and I'll continue to, especially for you new people coming around. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're the only ones that were calling for this last little push down. Could it continue? We'll talk about that. But if you look here on the dollar index, we have been, this fractal here has been playing out perfectly once we broke out. As you can see, it's identical in the MACD and the RSI also. This is the 3-day chart. If you want to check it out for yourself, it does lead me to be bullish for the next year or two. And usually when the dollar goes up, all other markets come down. I know everybody's extremely bullish in all the markets. I am not. But anyways, let's take a look at this possibility of a left shoulder head, right shoulder, inverse head and shoulder. It is definitely a possibility. I do think we most likely come all the way back down and retest this 53.1 to confirm the left shoulder, somewhere in that 52.1 to 52.5 area. If we do get a nice bounce and come up back up to the 60,000 range, keep an eye on this area. If we get rejected, could be a fake out and come back down. If we do break above this 60,100 area and get support here, the measured move of this as an inverse head and shoulders, which I'm not too confident in, but it is a possibility. If we do bounce above this, get support, the measured move of that is right around 70,000. But if we break below this trend line here, this left shoulder, then I think we continue down further. And we're going to take a look at those targets, like I said. So make sure you stick around. We're also going to take a look at that wick off theory of distribution. As you can see, last video was on Friday. As you guys know, I went out of town yesterday, but we had this bearish divergence here, which played out. It was hidden bearish divergence, which played out. We did get our drop here. Looking at this whole thing, let me get that off. Looking at this whole thing as a rising broadening wedge, I've been talking about, I do believe we're going to come back down and test this area. Bitcoin doesn't have to do what I believe it's going to do, but I strongly believe that we're going to come down and retest this trend line at least. Now that could be very bullish. If we do get a nice bounce off this trend line, could we continue up for the rest of the year with a massive bull run? It is a possibility to come back up and retest this trend line. If we were to come back up and retest this top trend line of the wedge, 75 to 76,000, it might be a huge pump. But remember, we do have our target at 62.8 to 63,000 range, possibly as high as 65. That's still in the cards as a possibility to come up here before rejection. But we'll keep an eye on that. We're going to go into the smaller charts, but let's take a look at the extremely bullish case scenario. If we did come up and break this top trend line, we could see $100,000 Bitcoin that everybody's calling for. If we break this bottom trend line where I'm talking about coming back down and retesting, if that is to break, guys, and if it follows this trend line here, this could be quick. Within the next 3 or 4 days, it could get a swift fall. But I mean, it doesn't have to do that. It could be a slow climb back down to retest this. The longer it takes, the higher the bottom of this trend line is. But if we did come down pretty quick and we broke it, with over the next 6 months to a year, we could be getting down to this 20,000, possibly even lower. But again, if we get a nice bounce off this bottom trend line, that could be pretty damn bullish for Bitcoin. We will be keeping an eye on it. If you guys are interested in trading, check out PHEMEX. I'll leave a tutorial up top. By far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. You can trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, everything all on one exchange without having to, you know, and you can put multiple trades in. It doesn't clump them together like all the other ones. So definitely check them out. You can use my promo code SAVY50. We'll get you 50% on top of whatever you deposit as a bonus. So if you put in 1 Bitcoin, you get a half a Bitcoin bonus towards your margin. Savvy25 will get you 25% off your fees. And by signing up with my link, I do have a link down below, along with some other links that you might want to check out. But you get an extra $200 bonus on top of all that. So anyways, let's take a look at what's going on here in the 1 hour. So we've been watching this as a rising wedge here, looking at a possibility if we do get a huge push up to come retest the top of this, could be around 65,000 to 66,000. But I talked about this before. This does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4. If we do get up here, it would be the 5, and this would be an ending 5th wave diagonal, in my opinion. If we zoom in a little bit and look at these targets we have here, as you guys know, I was talking about we broke here, and once we usually break these trend lines, like we had this wick down, that weakens it pretty good. I expected us to come down. My target's still around this 55.40 area for this move, for this particular move down. You can see the RSI reset nicely for another drop in the 1 hour. And if we look at this as a rising broadening wedge in the yellow, the measured move of that from where we broke down is around the $50,500 range, which would be retesting this low over here. So guys, be careful, watch that. If we do get down here, we may have some major consolidation if we can't get back above this trend line, which would be, depending on where and when we get there, 54,000, 55,000. We could be going down to these much lower targets. The measured move of that wedge gets us all the way down to, and again guys, that's if we break this within the next week or so, around 36. And we'll take some other looks at why those targets make sense. So as of right now, this is the chart we were looking at on the 15-minute back from Friday. We broke down past this as I expected. We still had this trend line off of these 2 wicks here. Let me move this up a little bit. We didn't break down as quick as I thought we would, so we broke over here. We had the measured move of this as a rising broadening wedge. If we move this over to where we broke out, let's take the measured move of that real quick. Extend this a little bit. Go down to where we broke down out of it. And that gets us right around 51,000. So there's a lot of possibilities, guys, that we go down here. And I know everybody was extremely bullish on Ethereum, but if you watched Friday's video, I showed you the targets there. So let's say we come up and retest this now. Let me put this down here. Could be somewhere around the 58.5 range. And that's an extremely important number. If you guys have been watching my wick-off method, where it's showing possible distribution, where usually it signifies a top. So let's keep watching this 58.5 area for a rejection. If we get up there, then we have this first target of the rising channel here in white, and that one gets us to about 54.5. Most likely get a nice bounce there if we get down to this range. If we continue down, then we go to that 51.5 area. But keep an eye on this 58.5. If we do get back above this, then we could be continuing up much higher. So 58.5 is the area to watch as of right now. Let's take a look at the long-term chart. This is on the log chart. As you can see, these white lines here, let me look at the RSI real quick. As you can see, we have broken down on the day or 3-day, this trend line here. So in the RSI, that is pretty bearish in the longer term. Doesn't mean we drop in 20 minutes. So anyways, this parabolic rise here, as you can see, I put the parabolic arch. arc. Once we broke that, we started our bear market or confirmed it. Same thing over here. Once we broke it, we confirmed it. And as of where we're at right now, you can see we're getting rejected at that 0.236 fib. And if I zoom in here, I did move this. If you watched the last video, giving Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt, if we were to come up and test this fib, it's going to be right around the 63.25. Now, if we get back above this, then that's bullish for Bitcoin. If we get support at the 63.2 area, then we could have a pretty massive pump. But otherwise, if we get rejected here, which I believe is most likely, we could be continuing back down. We did break out of the parabolic arc here, and we are going up to retest it now, and that would also get us around that 58.5 range. So but also if we look at it, we are getting support on the 80 EMA. So let's zoom in a little bit more on the daily chart. We have this rising channel, and if we look at the funding rate, it's still favoring the bears right here. We are getting support on the EMAs right now, as of right now. But I have been talking about if we do come back down to this 54.4 range, which would be the bottom of this rising channel, we could be looking for this $34,000 range. As you can see, this red line, that is also a high volume node right across here. You can see the high volume node on the VPVR. It's pretty confluent, guys, so keep a close eye on that. Like I said, we could go up, retest this top of this channel somewhere around the $75,000 range, but first target right now that we got to get above, if we're going to do that, is 58.5. So keep a close eye on that. Otherwise, we could be seeing some pretty ugly moves in Bitcoin. Now, this is that wick-off method. I drew these lines in here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We started looking at this chart. Right here, the LSPY line, that is the last point of supply. And we are not able to get above that. That also is the 58.5. If we can get back above that and get support on it in the daily, then, you know, we could be coming up to that $62,000 to $65,000 range, possibly even higher. But guys, there is a lot of resistance here. And if this is the Wyckoff method's distribution phase, it shows that we are at or near the top here before either a massive correction or the bear market's a possibility. Again, I'm not saying it's a bear market, but a lot of signs are showing a lot of bearishness to me. I know everybody is really super bullish. I'm really cautious here just because how this is playing out perfectly. This is also another distribution phase that does show that we pop up and we could go higher, but it would still be distribution. So that would get us to that $63,000 to $65,000 range before coming down. So be aware of that. Looking at Litecoin, as you guys know, we were watching this wedge right in here, or triangle, whichever you want to call it. And looked like we had a fake out for Litecoin. It looked like it broke out, broke above, came back down, looked like pretty much like a bull trap to me. We had a measured move. If we broke up and got support up there, we'd be going to 315, which would be retesting the top of this wedge, which is a possibility. If we get back up above this trend line, which would be somewhere in the 214, 215 range, and get support, then we could continue up. Otherwise, breaking down out of the bottom of this gets us back down to this trend line. And this wouldn't be one straight day, guys. This would probably take weeks, possibly months, but could get us down all the way to that $77 range. I know that's super bearish. I'm just showing the possibilities. Again, if we can't get above this trend line, then the possibilities of coming down here get even greater. Ethereum, we had the target of 2194, which would be coming to retest this top of this rising channel. It's still a possibility to come up here. I'm sure everybody will get extremely bullish if we did. But if we do get rejected there, come back down to the bottom of the channel, we can take some measured moves of that. But let's look at the bullish case. Let's say we break that 2200 range, then that would be breaking this channel, and the measure move then would be about 26.8. If we get all the way back up to retest the top of this same thing, rising broadening wedge, just like in Bitcoin and Litecoin, could get us as high as that $3,000 range over the next coming weeks. Otherwise, if we break down, come back down. We cannot break that 2200. Come test the bottom of this rising channel again, and it breaks somewhere in the 1750 range. If that does break, we could be going down to around the 1300 range. And if that, now if we look at this rising broadening wedge and a breakdown from there, that also gets us a much lower target possible. And that is if, you know, Bitcoin does do a big dump. We could be looking all the way down towards, like I said, $77 Litecoin, $270 Ethereum. Just, it could be a lot worse than people are thinking. I'm not saying it can't continue up from here, but guys, you need to take a look at both cases. I don't want to feed a bunch of people a bunch of stuff that's going to make people FOMO in or FOMO out, like a lot of channels do, and then they have a couple people that make money and then they post it like they, you know, everybody did, when they don't show the 90% of people that lost money, because when they make these calls, they make them out of ridiculousness. You know, they don't mention all the people that got stopped out or liquidated on the way to their target because they said it was going to go here, but really it went down to way down here first and then up there, and then they act like they called it, whatever. I just, it's pretty disgusting how some of these guys do these videos. But anyways, that's what I'm looking at. Be very cautious here. 2200 is the area to watch for Ethereum. 58.5 is the area to watch for Bitcoin, and that $214, $215 area is the area to watch for Litecoin. Be safe, be careful out there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. That link is also below. There's also hard wallet links down there to get discounts on TradingView. If you guys want a chart, it's totally, you can set up a free one. You don't have to pay for TradingView unless you want a lot more indicators or whatnot, but you can try it out for free. There's tons of them down there. Check them out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to smash that like, leave your comments down below. That really helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and have a beautiful day. Happy Easter, by the way. Almost forgot. But anyways, take it easy, guys. I'm out.